Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a new episode of Eve Echoes. Today we're going to be taking a little bit of time to analyze the latest version that has been deployed on the live server. And we're looking at quite some interesting updates. Plus, in case you didn't notice, on the main Discord, the official Discord, there's some future content that has been announced regarding the insurance system. So let's take it step by step. The latest patch increased the maximum player limit of nullsec systems from 800 to 1000. This means bigger fleet actions. Of course, that doesn't mean the lag will go away. It'll probably be there, still be there. Also, no word on the disconnects and stuff like that. But just by the fact that they increased the player numbers, we can assume that something was done on server side to improve efficiency at handling a bigger number of players inside systems. Number 2, players can no longer create new characters using emulator. This is something that a lot of people have pointed out, that they're trying to get rid of emulators. This is not true. Otherwise, emulators would have been completely banned. Also, don't forget NetEase has their own emulator up on the market. It's called the Mmorpg emulator, and you can basically play Eve Echoes on that emulator. But aside from the fact that there's plenty of emulators out there, what this does, in fact, is prevent automated scripts, as in bot farms, to create their own characters. Basically, what happened before this is people would develop scripts to just make new characters inside the emulator, so no need for player interaction. So as soon as a bot farm will get banned by the weekly ban system. You know, it's that chart and report with all the banned accounts and banned characters. The scripts for the bot farm would immediately create new accounts, new characters through the emulators and pretty much pee on those banning systems. So this specifically aims at cutting off those bot farming scripts that would create characters and accounts using just emulators. Now you need a phone, so probably people will develop new scripts to create accounts or characters on the phone and then move over to the bot farm on the emulator. But it's a good step against botting. Search history for each system is now saved locally on the client, which is a good quality of life. Plus, it prevents any additional lag by communicating with the server in getting that history. Updated the ship info screen. This is something really generic. We have no information on what exactly the ship info screen update contains. What was exactly updated? This is again a problem that I pointed out multiple times. Spitting something in here doesn't mean we understand what's going on. Some example or some specific, like we added this inside the ship info screen, would have been a lot nicer. Added a ship comparison feature in the ship tree. A player specifically asked for a ship comparison. I wanted to point out we actually need a module comparison. Probably the module comparison tool will come soon as well, due to the fact that the ship comparison was just introduced. Update the ship tree to allow ship filtering. As you can see, the maximum zoom out of the ship tree was increased. Now you can zoom out and see the entire tree is really small, but you can see it all, and you can pretty much decide where exactly you want to zoom in on, instead of just having it like this and just constantly scrolling all over the place. Plus, we have a nice filtering here, so you can basically filter by the ship size, which is large. You can hit confirm, and then let's select this one, and it will highlight the exact ships that you just filtered from the MR. So right now you can still go to the main selection screen of the factions, but instead of clicking or tapping on the actual faction itself, this has been moved to the lower left side of the screen. It's a burger menu, and this will get you inside the old menu of selecting a faction. In addition, we have the factions displayed on a menu on the right side once you start using the filters. So if we just try to remove any filter, there's no actual button for removing all the filters, so this is going to be a bit weird. If you check a lot of stuff, you'll have to deselect them manually. There's no clear filter option, not that I can see yet. And after basically putting inside some filters, let's say railguns, medium ship, and I click confirm, you'll basically get inside the menu on the right side of the screen all the ships that match your configuration. So by clicking on that, it'll automatically take you to that ship tree for that specific faction, and you'll be able to see all the highlighted ships that, for example, in our case, uses railguns and are medium-sized ships. If we would just want to use, I don't know, let's say drone, and let's take armor, and we want to go with medium, then we would get the Sisters of Eve, the Mmorpg, and the Galente. This is a nice quality of life improvement. It'll help a lot of players do a lot of stuff. Now, the comparison is located right here. You can tap on add to comparison, and then it will add a 1. Unfortunately, this is a bug, as you can see in the top left corner. We have this item as an initial selection for comparison, and we will go into the Mmorpg and pick an arbitrator covert ops ship and then add to comparison. We can do multiple comparison, like for example, I even want to go into the Galente one and add the Vexor Sniper. Now we can tap on this small button right here, which is located below the main menu of the game, and you can basically open the ship comparison. Now, it doesn't actually provide any comparison like highlighted attributes that are different. The only thing that you can do is just scroll through them individually and just basically compare the stats or compare like the bonuses, but it won't highlight any of the stats that are modified. Like for example, we can only compare information that is located on the main screen of the ship info panel. We can't compare the ones that are inside that attributes and fittings screen that you would go for a normal ship. Like, can I clear everything? Okay, yeah, I need to hit that delete button. So if I do here and go to this basic info, attributes and fittings, yeah, we cannot compare this screen to any other ship. So ship comparison only is limited to the main info panel of that ship, which is this one. We've already covered the updated ship tree to allow ship filtering. We've just showcased that. Players in executive corporations with alliance management permissions will now be notified when a corporation applies to join the alliance or leaves it. When a corporation is removed from the alliance, all players in that corporation will be notified. A nice quality of life on the login screen. Patch notes will no longer pop up once you have read them. Added the all compression feature and all compression skills. Now players can compress all at capturing outposts and corporation citadels. We'll be looking at this immediately after we cover all the updates that have been provided. Added notifications for certain operations while flying in a capsule. Again, we don't understand what this means. There's no explanation or actually an example of what exactly was added to the game. Added info about viewing blueprints to tips. After completing an encounter mission, if there are items the mission offers, you will receive an extra notification reminding you to claim the items at the destination. We already had this. If you remember, when you complete a storyline mission, you would get a notification that your reward, which was that chest, was delivered to, I don't know, some random ITC. I wasn't able to understand exactly how does it decide which ITC it gets delivered to, because it's not related to your proximity of it, or it could be related to the proximity of where you accepted the mission. This might be the case, but just to stay on topic, I'm guessing that for encounters this notification was not there, so they added it right now. And when selecting the items to reprocess, the reprocessing interface will now pop up. This is an excellent addition. Why? Because previously, if you've selected a bunch of items and hit reprocess, it would reprocess them automatically with no pop-up, no notification, without you understanding what is the yield of reprocessing those items. Bug fixes fix an issue where the security rating of some systems were incorrectly displayed. Again, I've seen this fix in a previous patch. I'm guessing there's more systems that have been discovered. I have no idea. Fix an issue where kill mails will not load in certain cases. Again, which are the cases, or which were the cases? If you'd like the community to help you verify some of the fixes, please provide examples so we would understand what exactly was fixed, so we can try to confirm it, that if that fix is valid or if the issue is still occurring. But that's pretty much about the updates inside the patch. We also did get a notification on, at least an announcement from Joseph, community manager, inside the Eve Echoes official Discord. The announcement mentions the insurance version 2.0, which was split into 3 parts. Part 1 was launched on March 10th, Part 2 was launched on March 24th, and Part 3 is set to be released on April 21st. Part 3 was initially designed to be launched on April 7th, but due to the ore compression feature being focused on by the developers, the Part 3 of the insurance version 2.0 was postponed to April 21st. So these are the items that will be introduced on April 21st. There's 5 of them, we can read them. One thing that I really like is the optimize the rules of the insurance deposit pool. This is number 2. Required for the insurance system to produce new buy orders. This from the overdue buy orders will now return to the deposit pool. This means buy orders set by the system that expire will no longer be lost forever. They will return. The disk actually for the buy orders will return inside the pool, and the system will put new buy orders again using the same money. Also, they mentioned that they are working on insurance version 3.0 and aim it to release sometime in August or September, as it also depends on specific structure we plan on adding to Corporation Citadel for this addition to many other structures we are currently designing after we complete the other content listed on our development roadmap. So this is a very interesting topic. Why? Because we just mentioned in our previous videos, where are the corporation or the sovereignty updates that we were promised? Well, I was right at one point. I mentioned that maybe they want to focus on delivering what they have for the roadmap right now and then continue with the sovereignty updates and whatever updates they have to implement, and this is actually the case. So let's take a look at the compression feature next. It's on the live server. You can do this in the Corporation Citadels by default, because Corporation Citadels are actually industry citadels. On the Capsule Outpost, you do need the industry service module to be fitted in order to have this contextual menu option, which is the compression. So once you hit the compression button, you will see a menu sort of like looking like this. Ore compression, you'll basically be able to select the ores that you really want to compress. Keep in mind that the ore compression rates are translated into gigajoules of energy. So for every 100 ore that you want to compress 100 to 1, it'll take a specific amount of energy. For example, for the Veldspar, you will require 49 gigajoules. For Pyrex series, you will need 1700 gigajoules. Or for Arcanor, which is pretty much on the high end of ore types, you will require somewhere around 20,000 gigajoules. Keep in mind that the plasmoids only offer 191 gigajoules per unit, so you have to do the math yourself. That is, of course, if you do not have the corresponding skills. The skills have been added into the skill panel. There's the basic, the advanced, and the expert in ore compression. So if you have them in 555, meaning maxed out, you will end up with around 50% reduction in gigajoules needed in order to compress ore. Now for the base quality types of ore, which is standard, like Veldspar or Pyrex series or Arcanor or whatever, the compression rate is 100 to 1, and it requires a specific amount of gigajoules we already mentioned. But there's a new change that was implemented. If you remember, we had the condensed belts, you know, with the intermittent belt, that spawned condensed belt. You would mine from those belts condensed ore quality. Now, that condensed ore quality is no longer present inside the game. It has been replaced with a rich quality. So in condensed belts, you will now find rich quality. If you already had condensed ore inside your corporation hangar or in your personal hangar, whatever, you will see that its name has been changed to rich type. And of course, for the rich type, in order to compress it, you only need 10 to 1. So you will need 10 of the rich quality in order to compress it to just 1 unit of compressed ore. And of course, it will require a different amount of gigajoule. Like for example, we've mentioned that 49 gigajoules are required to compress 100 units of standard Veldspar. Well, for rich Veldspar, you will need 32 gigajoules. Now keep in mind, if you're only using plasmoids, that's going to suck. Why is that? Because the plasmoids offer 191, so if you only want to compress 100 units of ore into one compressed ore, you will use one plasmoid. For example, for Veldspar, which requires 49 gigajoules, you'll use one plasmoid, but it'll not split it up. There's no way it can split up one plasmoid into fractional pieces. So it will use an entire unit of plasmoid, which is 191 gigajoules. So you need to prepare the type of fuel beforehand and make sure that the amount of fuel you have will not go to waste. Try to use lesser type of fuel to get the most out of the gigajoules offered, so you wouldn't waste fuel units. As for the fuel itself, you need to have it inside your personal hangar. That's where it will be consumed out of. It's not going to be consumed out of the fuel bay for either the Corporation Citadel or the Capsule Outpost. No, you need to have fuel inside your personal hangar to be able to compress that specific ore. Be advised, without any skill investment, the energy required to compress ore is going to be astronomical. But if you do manage to invest some time into the skills for the compression of ore, as I mentioned, with 555 skill levels, you will get around 50% in energy consumption. Also, don't forget about our community question of the week, which is, once exploration launches, will you be switching to full exploration mode and abandon PvE completely, or will you still do both? Don't forget to throw in a like and a subscribe if you enjoy what we're doing here. And of course, I hope you guys learned something. That's it for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.